Welcome to my Hebrew channel, Mila Braika, and I'm into the second section of Genesis 16. I'm going to do Genesis 16 in three parts. So first one was verses 1 through 6. Now we're going to do 7 through 12, and then the last one will be a little shorter one from 13 on to the end of the chapter. So this is the part where Hagar has run into the desert, and now we have the interaction of the angel of God with Hagar. Very interesting conversation. Incidentally, there are two flight sequences of Hagar. Hagar, here in this chapter, she flees into the desert while she's just simply pregnant with her son Ismail. And then the next one, she has given birth to Ismail and flees into the desert with the child. And so the second narration is actually far more pathos, far more feeling to it. I mean, wow, there's a lot of feeling here, of course, too. I mean, you're running into the desert. It's a dangerous thing to run into the desert. But in Hebrew thought, running into the desert means you're going to run up against God. And here, Hagar runs up against the angel of God, almost as good. But anyway, a malach. Malach Yahweh. So that's who she meets here in the desert at this well. And often wells are meeting points also. They were in ancient times, still are today, where you actually meet up with people and important things happen at wells. So let's get to this narration. And so the angel of Jehovah found her by a spring of water in the wilderness, and the spring is on the way to Shur. That is a spring that functions like an eye that's open. In Spanish, it's ojo de agua. It's well known in Spanish, but also in English. It's a spring. It's a water source. Okay. Sometimes it's called a well, but it is really a spring. And va yim sa'ach yim sa'ach mem sadik aleph. This is a well-known word for to find or locate or to look for. Vayim Shalach, Malach, okay, angel Yehovah of Jehovah, Al Ayin Hamayim, very poetic sound here to it, Al Ayin Hamayim, to the spring of waters, Bamidbar, in the desert, Al Ha'ayin Bederech Sur, okay, to the spring that's on the road to Shur. So Shur is out there. Shur means the solid rock, the rock in which often, when you had a nice, very solid rock, this is where you could sometimes locate water flowing from the base of the rock. There's a better water source where the rock is more solid. So, Bederech Shur, on the way to Shur, out into the desert. You meet God in the desert. You find go face to face with the Lord in the desert, or at least with his angel here. And this angel, he said, Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from? Where are you going? And she said, I am fleeing from my mistress Sarai. Incidentally, this was a rhetorical question because the angel most certainly knew what was happening, but simply wanted her to define what was happening with herself. So this is why the question is asked here. Vayomer. Just said, boom, look at nice revia right here. So you put the brakes on and have a nice comma here. Vayomer Hagar, okay, Hagar, Shifhat Sarai, okay, servant of Sarai, Ech Mizeh, okay, from where have Ba'at, from where have you come? Okay, where have you come from? Ech Mizeh Ba'at, Ve'anna Teleche. And where are you going? Okay, these are both interrogatory particles right here. Okay, this is from where have you come? Ve'enech telecha. Where are you going? Okay, you thought about where you're going. In other words, where do you plan to go? What are your plans? Okay, so you have Yomer, and he said, and then Tomer, and then she said. Okay, the same verb here, but this is a feminine prefix. This is a masculine prefix. So Yomer, Vatomer. Okay, contrast here. Yomer, Vatomer, Mifene, from the face of Sarai. Gibarti, who is my mistress. Anochi, Borecha, I am fleeing. Okay, Boracha, I am fleeing from her. Okay, so Mifanech, Sarai, Gibarti, my mistress, I am fleeing. And then the angel of Jehovah said to her, return to your mistress and suffer under her. Wow, what an affirmation. In a sense, the angel of the Lord is saying the Lord still has plans for you. You can't just take off. You can't just get out of there. It is, in a sense, teaching to all of us. Sometimes when we find ourselves in a difficult scenario, difficult circumstances and so forth, sometimes the Lord just says to us, okay, stick in there, just stay with it. Okay? And this is what the angel of Jehovah is saying to her at this point. Vayomer lach, and he said to her, Malach Yehovah, the angel of the Lord. Again, the full title is repeated. Okay, Malach Yehovah. Shuvi, okay, return. Al Gibaratecha, to your mistress. Gibaratecha. Gibaratech. I tend to tack comments on the end, which is bad. Gibaratech, okay. Nice atna here to put the brakes on it here. Gibarach. Gibertech. Okay. Gibertech. Behit anan. And this is a hifo or hitpail. Yeah, this is hitpail here. Full out hitpail. Yeah, reflexive causative, and submit yourself. Submit to the anon. Submit to the trial. Okay. Suffer. Yeah, anon, and suffer under her. Cause yourself to suffer. Tachat, under yadcha, under her hand. Okay, under her hand. Could have put this a little bit more literally here. And suffered under her hand. And again, wow, I had noticed it, but each verse, again, the full title is repeated. Okay, the angel of Jehovah said to her, I will surely multiply your offspring so that they cannot be numbered for multitude. And he said to her, the angel of Jehovah said to her, Harva, Arve, Arve. So again, an infinitive tacked on to an indicative first person to multiply. I'm multiplying. So this is a very, how would say, idiomatic or normal way of the Hebrew to emphasize something. We can start with, logically, we should really start with the second verb here. Arve, okay? I'm going to multiply. I'm multiplying. And then harva, I'm doing it in a big way. Okay? The same verb, if you look it up, probably is the very same root, reshbet, hey, reshbet, hey. Both of them have managed to conserve everything on this root. But this one has first person, and this one's, and when you have these two together, just think of the first one having an infinitive function. So to multiply, and I will multiply. To multiply, I will multiply. So I'm going to really multiply. So this word in our translation, surely, just derives from the fact that the root has been repeated here. Okay, harba, arba, areb, arba, arbe. Et zerecha, your seed, to your seed, direct object marker here. Velo yishfer, yishafer, me'erov, and you will not be able to count, to enumerate, to number. Shefer is as a verb, it's to number something. As a noun, it's a book. Okay, but the verb, as a verb, you take it and number and list it out. I won't be able to list these people. Lo yeshafar, merav, so much, for such a multitude. This, incidentally, is the verb for reshbet he, rev, and this is the noun form of that root. Okay, so you tack a mem on the front, and then you convert this verb into a noun. When you do that, also, if you notice, you see a apocryphe of the he when that happens here, but that's quite normal. The hay often disappears in a hurry. So me rov as the multitude, again, noun form of this particular verb. And then the angel of Jehovah said to her, "You have conceived and will have a son. You will name him Ishmael, for Jehovah has heard your affliction." Vayomer lach malach Yehovah. Wow, 4 times in a row. Really want to make sure that the angel of Jehovah is affirming each thing one after the other, and his full name is repeated each time. Vayomer lach malach Yehovah. Hinech hara. Hey, take a look. Okay. Hinech. Hine, this is the you have. So hine is to hey, behold or take a look, and take a look at you. Okay. Hinecha. Take a look at you. Hara, you have conceived. Va ve yolad te ben, and you will give birth to a son. Okay, you will give birth to a son. Ve karat, and you will name Shemo, his name, Ishmael. Okay, Ishmael, and you have very much. It's a name that's combined of elements that are very well known. Shema is to hear, listen to, and El is, of course, short form of Elohim. Okay, so God has heard. Okay, God has heard. And the explanation is also given here in this particular verse right here. Ki Shema, because has heard, Yehovah, El Onecha, Onech, has heard your affliction. Okay, so Shema here is the very same root that we find in Shimem Ayin. This then is the verb. This is part of the name that we have here. Ke Shema Yehovah al Anecha, to your affliction. And now a description of what this child will be like, Ishmael, and the whole matter of the unrest we even have in the Middle East today, of people who really behave in a very wild fashion. Okay, compared here to a pere, okay, to a donkey, and it's a very unfortunate feature of the culture and the place there, that there are cultures and there are nations so that behave that way. So this man will be like a wild donkey. His hand will be against everyone. Everyone's hand will be against him, and he will live facing off with his brothers. In other words, sometimes the worst trouble are among family members, and here he's got brothers, and his brothers and him are not going to get along very well at all. Okay, so that's a hard detail, and unfortunately even impacts society to this day. So the Hu and he, Yehye, will be Pere. Okay, he will be a donkey, a wild donkey. These are donkeys that have been domesticated. They're out just running out wild. Sometimes that also happens to wild horses, but this is a Pere. This is a donkey that just runs wild and answers to nobody, won't stop for anybody, simply very headstrong and running off into the desert and surviving on whatever it can eat out there. So, Vehu Yehye Pere, Adam, a man, as a man, Yado, his hand, Bekol, Veyad, okay, and his hand of him will be against all, against everybody, Bekol, okay, Bakol. There's a tendency when people are learning vocabulary of the prefix prepositions to say in for ba, but this is against, okay, against. In fact, I'm just noticing that as you read more and more of it, you just see more and more cases of this use of this preposition this way. So yado bekol, the yad, and his hand of all, and hand of all, abo will be against him. Okay, so this is against all, and this is against him. Same prefix preposition against all, and the hand of all will be against him. Ve'al fanav kol ahiv, and against the face of all his brothers. Okay, yishkon, he will be living, he will live. This is the verbal form of this word. This root is very well known in a name that we know very well, Shekinah, that is Jehovah lives. But here's the same thing as living. Okay, Yishkon, he will live, then facing off with his brothers. What a life, to live out a life in conflict with others. That's sort of, if that's what defines you, oh, this is kind of tough. And it does happen. It's what happens in the world sometimes. Those who are born, and I would say those who don't come under the discipleship of Christ, are going to be like a wild donkey, simply living a rough life and suffering the consequences for it. So, yeah, we can learn from even the evil things that happen in the world. So may God bless, may God strengthen you in this day. Until the next time.